All right, we begin with this news. Many Nigerians are already greeting this latest directive by the Central Bank of Nigeria with somewhat happy feelings, and that's about the October 2022 policy of the Apex Bank, where it introduced the redesigned 200, 500, and 1,000 Naira denominations and issued certain deadlines for the old design of these denominations to cease as legal tenders. Well, fast forward now to earlier in the year when Nigerians who had money in the banks, as well as those who needed cash at hand, had a tough time accessing it because of a ban on the usage of the old Naira notes, as the new notes in circulation then was insufficient. And now, after much back and forth on the issue and several court pronouncements, the controversy surrounding the old Naira notes has finally been put to rest, as the Central Bank of Nigeria has now extended the validity of the old 200, 500, and 1,000 Naira notes indefinitely. According to the Apex Bank, the decision is in line with international best practices and to forestall a repeat of earlier experiences implementing the policy. So yes, Nigerians can heave a sigh of relief as the old Naira notes remain in circulation until further notice, indefinitely, no matter how you want to interpret this latest announcement by the Central Bank of Nigeria. But it somewhat it will largely douse tension because the December the 31st deadline was already here, a few weeks away, and now we can continue to spend both the old and the new notes together.
They actually use the term, the Latin word ad infinitum, that it's going to be there. We don't know when they're going to decide to take it. You remember the one we are spending has been there for more than, for several years, and it's been long. Nigeria decided to change the Naira note, which Emefiele pushed in October 2022, giving 3 months for it to mop up the old Naira notes for, to swap, getting people to swap their old Naira notes in December the 6th before they moved it to the end of January. And then it now led to a lot of, struggle for Nigerians. It was quite, it was much more like an unprecedented level of suffering. We saw videos of people going to the bank, causing chaos, fighting, disruption, setting places ablaze and all of that. We nearly saw the experience of the NSAS during the Emefiele recolorization or recoloring of the Naira. So he said that he intended to, mop up about 80% of the Naira notes in circulation. That's about 2.7 trillion Naira of the 3.2 trillion Naira in circulation at that time. But the problem was that it was good policy, some said, but then not at that time, wrong timing, and the fact that we didn't learn from India in 2016, which it almost torn the country apart, and we almost experienced the same thing in Nigeria at that time. But it was very sad that the opposition party, remember then, it was a period leading to the elections, where the opposition party thought that this is a strategy to decimate the sagacity, let me just use the word, of the incumbent president, that, with this and the fact that APC was the one in power, this would definitely bring the party down, and they will be able to, leverage this to get into, wresting power from the incumbent at that time. But it was unfortunate that they saw people dying, they saw people going through, unprecedented levels of suffering. They saw people, clamoring, fighting for their own hard-earned money. And the fact that they said they wanted to go digital, and the network was not even in a very good situation for Nigerians to use. So it's really sad. Now, when those people realize that their plans, their shenanigans, their evil works didn't go through, didn't sail through, then they decide to Emefiele, you didn't do right, you didn't do this well. So it was a whole lot of chaos at that time. But the fact that the CBN is now saying this will go on ad infinitum, that's a very good one for Nigerians. Because I was in the market yesterday, I spent the new Naira note. I just went to the ATM, got it dispensed, spent the new Naira note. The woman was, checking and all of that. I was like, what were you looking for? I said, I'm looking for the CBN the CBN logo or CBN something
to ascertain
whether the
genuine
authenticity of the new Naira note. Because Emefiele said the essence of it is for it not to be counterfeited. But we saw that people counterfeited it at that time. They brought in very new one. You know, it even looked finer than the original one. So it's very important for Nigerians to also be discerning in order to be able to separate the original one from the fake ones.
Right, and well, there's a caveat in this latest announcement, which is that Nigerians and residents generally should make use of e-channels, to facilitate payment. Yeah. Because observers had noted that there was unduly long queues across ATMs, in several parts of the country, especially at this time, the Yuletide, just around the corner. Of course, naturally there will be a lot of buying and selling in the market. Well, of course, for a large chunk of Nigerians, that has already become the norm. Having to pay for essentials, through the click of your phones and all that. And for those who are also asking whether the CBN is not somehow flouting the orders of a court, because the apex court of the land had given, an order saying that the old notes should remain in circulation until December the 31st. That's right. And now that the central bank is saying that everyone can continue to spend the old notes indefinitely, some had, expressed worry are we getting another sense of, a disobedience or a flouting deliberately or otherwise of the court order? But the CBN has said that it will make moves now. That's right. To head back to court to find a way to vacate the order of the court, so it would seem like everybody is on the same page. But I remember it was an interview we had recently where an analyst expressed concern about this is novel and it's strange, and it could also be worrying, the fact that you're having two notes of the same denomination, in circulation. Very confusing. It can be confusing. And, what does it say about our image? And again, on the other hand, there's the issue of we even have more of the old notes in circulation than the new Naira notes in circulation. If you collect like a wad of cash now from the bank or elsewhere, you would see one or two or three new notes. Majority of what you would have with you would be, the old Naira notes. And it gives a sense. First, we were told at the time that all the old notes had been destroyed, and then there was a large amount of money that was used to print out the new notes. Yeah. But then you ask, where are the new notes? But we were to see, more clarity from the central bank, regarding what we are going to do with, both notes in circulation. We wait to see how it will all pan out. But, for now, and until we get, a contrary directive by the central bank, which is, of course, legally, set up to do things like this. Until we get that, this, will continue to be the norm, and, Nigerians can, run with that assurance from the CBN. From the CBN. Kemi, I don't know whether you often wonder, too, why we have 500 Naira note, 200 Naira notes, and 1,000 Naira note, for crying out loud. I feel that we do not need them. If you look at the pounds, it's the highest denomination you find. It's not up to what we have. Look at the dollar. At a point in time, they spent 10,000 US dollars. They took it away. They spent 5,000 US dollars. They took it away until they have 100 US dollars. So why do we need 1,000 Naira notes? Why do we need 500 Naira notes? Why don't we spend our coins? I was in the UK a few months back. The coins are there. You have to, several of it. So why don't we have all of this? So, and we are talking about the Naira not having strength. But if you're having 1,000 Naira notes, our Naira became bastardized when we began to have these notes. Why don't they, redenominate this currency? And at a point, they were even saying that, use the coins instead. But, where are the coins now? And how many Nigerians will appreciate, carrying a weight of coins about? Go ahead to be, but abroad, it's crying over bad and Naira, all right, crunching against the dollars. All right, that's all we have time for, on this, first discussion.